Okay, we're live. Holy moly. I didn't even notice it come in. Dun, 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 dun. So, we're live. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm actually extremely unprepared today. So, I'm hoping that my brother Dima, is better prepared than me. Um, but obviously on here we don't prepare. We that way if if it's gonna be boring, I'm sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry for the noise. But it's never gonna be boring because everything and anything you're gonna hear on here is gonna be absolutely necessary to hear. It's gonna be necessary. It's gonna be enlightening. It's gonna be from the heart and from the dome. From the dome. It's gonna be from the mind. And that's why there's I don't script these things. I let my intuition and my crown chakra and try to tap into super consciousness. That way, like I said, you know it's not scripted, and we're not faking, and it's more natural this way. It's more organic. It's like we're sitting down and having a conversation. I'm just trying to go through some of the things. So it's been yeah, I want to do a video on the Mandela Effect. I actually have I have my own theories, just like I always see. This is the one thing that I recommend to everyone, and this is one thing that I love. Um, that I love Islam and the Quran for, because in the Quran it says, go out there and learn. It doesn't, not like majority or all the other, or most of all the other religions and world dominating religions. Excuse me, I can't. Honestly, like, I'm gonna cut off my chain of thought, but like, I still can't get used to the whole feeling of like sitting in front of the camera and talking. I promise it's gonna get better. I promise I'm gonna get more comfortable, because I'm a very confident, very comfortable anywhere and everywhere I go. So yeah, as I was trying to say, in the Quran it says, go out there and learn before you make a decision about this faith and this religion. So I think that's very important, because most of the biggest religions in the world, they impose, and they say this is the way and this is the only way. But that's just actually a very good thing to remember in life. Period. I think that you can watch hundreds of videos, and you can read thousands of books, and you can hear all these different things. But what I would suggest is study. Yes, gain as much information as you can. Information is power. Knowledge is power. For all you guys out there that are worried about your looks and this and that, or maybe you're not tall enough, or your hair is not long enough, or you're not skinny enough, or built enough, or fat enough, or whatever there is that you don't have, or you think you don't have and you want. Because I think that all of us have that, at least one thing. If you want to have that confidence, gain as much knowledge as you possibly can. I always go back to the point that all the knowledge that has ever been and ever is, all the universal knowledge is already within us. We can all tap into it. Either through meditation, silencing your mind, which is the first part of meditation, or just let yourself be guided by intuition. So, and I truly believe in that. I truly believe that there's really no such thing as external knowledge that you don't already have, because the universe is so vast that and our consciousness has, I always say this, our consciousness, our soul, whatever you want to call it, has no beginning and no end, just like all of creation. So I'm pretty sure that we've like they say, been there, done that, and I'm pretty sure that we've been everywhere, done everything already through different kinds of incarnations. I remember in yoga, and I'm just going to tap into what I remember. I'm not actually going to look this up, and I'm not talking about yoga, the Western go to the gym and do stretching exercises yoga. I'm actually talking about the philosophy and the study and faith, if you want to call it, of yoga. It tells you, go out there and I'm sorry, see, I'm going back to my old point. In the yoga tradition, it says that we have incarnated through more than 800,000 different physical forms in order to get to the human form. So you can just imagine, and then some. So and I believe in that, all the way from the mineral world, like water and plants and trees and things like that, to the animal kingdom. Some of us, or maybe all of us, have been in a period of limbo. Now, when your consciousness is not trapped in the avatar in this body, there's obviously no such understanding or no such thing as time or space. So pretty much you're boundless, nowhere, anywhere. But anyway, if you're not in a physical body, and if you have not reincarnated in a different realm, then you can be in a limbo. We can all be in a limbo. I actually did a past life regression back in the day. It was like 2004, and going back to my past life, it took a very long time, and I actually got to learn that my previous life as a human being on Earth was around the time of when Christ was on this earth. So around that time, around 2,000 years. So you can imagine that for about two, and I did not see myself reincarnated as an animal or anything like that. So pretty much, for those 2,000 years, which obviously there was there's no such thing, no such understanding as time. For those 2,000 years, I was I was in limbo. Now I know like all the stuff that we talk about on here, and all the stuff that comes out of my mouth, you know, to a lot of people out there, you know, you're gonna be sitting there, you're gonna be like, is this is this dude out of his mind? Should I call 911? Should I get him some help? You know, um, you know, he says some outrageous stuff, but just like you know, or you think you know, that your arm is real, or your door is real, or the car that you get in to go to work, or you know, the train or the bus, or your mom or dad, your son, your brother, whatever. Just as you think those things are real, everything that I say that comes out of my mouth is very real to me, and it's actually beyond what you think is real to you, because um I have been feeling these things, absolutely waking up every morning and feeling the creator, feeling the universal unbound consciousness. The I can't even express to you through words the feeling that you have, knowing that you are connected to everything, to absolutely everything. You wake up and you walk outside, and you take the biggest breath, and you feel it. You just know. You just know. And of course, you know, I died a couple times in this lifetime. That definitely happened. I actually had a guest on Alicia. It was the second, I believe the second live um, event that I did. And me and Alicia, we were actually, I think it was 2004. Also, we were in a car accident. Um, and I like legally died in that car accident. As I, you know, kept getting older, you know, you get these sometimes either visions, or there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Beautiful.
Ooh, I can hear you, sir.
I can see the background of you. You checking the background, which is nice, man.
You know, I was trying to set up for you, man. I don't want to look on damn, I don't want to say professional, but you know what I mean, man. I don't want to go as far as
Beautiful.
professional. How are
I
you
found.
doing, sir?
I'm good, thank you. I mean, few days I came back from the vacation, and I know how it is. Like, just straight up to work, and I'm doing this basketball league, and I'm like, I don't want to making all up this air time with me doing my thing, but yeah, that's what I found this beautiful library. I want to show you. I want to share with you this beautiful library that I'm in right now. I
Oh
have
my
a lot of
goodness.
things here. Don't have it yet. What can I do? All right, thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's,
And I'm here,
it's probably,
and I'm here. Just go ahead, man.
yo, you're like literally kicking back in the library.
Yeah, I am. I am. And it's you try to do what you try to do. Yeah, a lot of work been on me. A lot of things been going on. But other than that, everything doing good. Everything bringing a good vibe. Everything great. I'm enjoying it, honestly. This AC doesn't really want to work as hard as I want them to, but
How
what can
hot?
you do,
How hot is it out there right now?
bro? It's always 29, 35 Celsius.
So what is
So it's
like?
always hot. It's always summer. I'm in heaven. Like, you
That
know what I
is
mean?
right.
Like yeah. I mean, it's always hot. It's always warm. You like, I do workouts every morning. Mm, I mean, in Ukraine, what can you do when it's snowing and raining in the morning? I mean, you cannot do nothing. In here, you can do everything you want. You know, and that's why I stayed here.
Is there humidity? Because I love hot places. I hate cold. I hate cold. But is there humidity?
Yeah, yeah. That's very humid here. It's very hot and humid. I mean, ACs are everywhere. You know what I mean? And but yeah, I fall in love with this weather because you always like, you're always in a good mood. Sun give you a lot of like ultraviolet in its photosynthesis, and you always feel good. I don't have this depression when it's
Right. It's a lot. It's like
yeah,
this lively feeling, right? Like you're alive.
for real, for real, for real.
This is why I love summer. In summer I get like the most I don't know, this feeling I can't even express it, man. And it's like everything around is alive and you feel alive, and it's just man, I want to move somewhere where it's always hot, just like where you are, man.
You can come, yo. It's relatively cheap tickets for American people. You don't need a lot of. You already have a passport, don't you? Huh?
Yeah, yes sir, yes sir, I got that taken care of.
Yeah, 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 man. So why don't you come to visit me? We're gonna do a lot of series of interviews. Why don't you just come and visit me? Yeah, we're gonna do a lot of things. You'll
That would
kick
be
it at my place. You don't have to worry about anything. I mean, we live super cool. So my girl, my teacher, my angel, who did past life regression,
Mhm.
she's coming to see me in October.
This
So
where is she from? Is she from the States?
no, she's from Malaysia. She's from Malaysia, and she's coming to do a past life regression, and yeah.
Listen, can we I don't want to like
You go
jumpstart
ahead,
right
bro.
away, but
Go ahead, bro.
can we please jumpstart to the past life regression and just take us through detail, like how was it? What'd
E-
you see? What'd you like? Please, man.
Let's go, man. Let's go, man. That's easy. I can do that. And
Let's do that. I think that's so freaking interesting, man. And just present it. Tell if when people are gonna watch it, whoever doesn't know exactly what it is and how it works. Because I'll tell you honestly, I remember before I did it, and it was a while ago. I was always scared that there will be some kind of psychological effects after I come out of the experience. So take us through that, please. It's so interesting.
well, it definitely is a psychological experience through what's happening. I can't say that I was fully aware of what was going on uh, because obviously you're not as connected. Um, if I can excuse myself for a second, let me just do it real
Yeah, yeah,
quickly.
sure, sure.
But I'm gonna keep talking.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
the impact that you told me last time when we talk, and you told me that mm, that you downloaded things, and then you gotta unpack it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it's not about that you getting um, everything in one time, which you did, but then you unpack, and every time you go to meditation, every time you shit, sorry about that.
Oh,
Anyway,
it's okay.
forget about it. Every time you go to meditation, every time you like tap into yourself, that information is unpacking. So it was detailed. So first of all, it's like 5-6 hours. Like
Mhm.
it's not a real quick thing. Like you come and you speaking in behalf of what can happen to you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So basically, uh, like you're speaking to a teacher, she asking you a question about like who's your father and who's your mother, because like for example, higher self can tell you some information like this and this might do this and this, and she, while you in hypnosis, she need to know who that is.
Can you start
So
from the
basically, like,
beginning? How you actually should get you into hypnosis and things like that? Like, you know, for
okay, cool. So first of all, you're talking to her. She explaining to you how things go. But then when you lay down, actually, when you go into a kind of like you're laying down on a bed, and she tell you to imagine certain things. Like you imagine a bird, a rat, specific things you need to imagine, visualize.
like a desert or
So
something, right? Like,
yeah, you visualize something, and then you visualize something that protecting you. Then you visualize something that again that protecting you, and you visualize something that invite whoever you wanted to be invited. Your guide, your angels, your spirits, your ancestors, your goddess. Well, my wife had like five strong goddesses working with her. I had only three.
wow.
Yeah. So
So so you lay down. She's telling. So the whole time she's talking to you, right? Like in a calm voice, she's
y-
talking to you.
the whole time she's talking, the whole time she's like explaining to you what you're gonna see, so on and so on. Um, and then one thing happening, like I'm laying down, and then you feel something literally went into you, like, and it pressed you to the bed. It was like I almost saw the flash with my eyes closed. I saw the flash, like, and it went like this, like right inside of me.
Oh my
It was
God.
it was something big, and it kind of it pressed me to a bed, like you can't move, literally you cannot move. So basically, this was my first, like, whoa, like what was that? I mean, because I've
Do
never
you
experienced.
at any point at this time do you feel alarmed or scared or like what's the feeling like?
None of that. So which is really cool thing about this whole situation, that you don't feel you don't feel scared, you feel blessed. It's
Mm.
like you feel really good in your body, some light, something like,
So
I
it's
don't
like
want to compare. No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, maybe
I,
it's like a warm light maybe taking over like your whole body sort of.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I was looking for that kind of explanation, but yeah, like something just took over, and it was very pleasant. It was by all means not unpleasant. I mean, I felt good, and after you come out of it, you also like feel like this outcome. You also feel really good. But so let's go into details. So I went in. She was, and I still think that I didn't fully got into the talking to higher self. I did. He came in. He answered a few questions. He actually. See, I'm jumping right to a higher self. Let's go back. Rewind. So you go into your past life.
Hmm.
Why you go into your past life? Because you're now your life is reflecting on something that you've done before, which is like
Past
karma.
actions.
This
Um,
is like
I'm so,
go
so
ahead.
so so sorry, but okay, but when you're going back, do you pass the time of a birth to get to past life, or
And you know what? No. It's very kind of weird in our physical perception. What's happening? You go right away to like for some reason I already saw myself as a lawyer back in 17th century with like big hat, like you wear this big hat, and then you have like one kind of this lens on your like. And when I was working, I was putting like sleeves on my shirt, so my white shirt won't be covered with the black ink. So, and I kind of wear the sleeves on my arms, on my forearms. So anyway, and you
so
see this quite.
you were making a really really good point. So this life is the reflection of.
Yeah, this life is a reflection of what you've done before.
Mhm.
So, and then for some reason, you only get to see the life that actually matter is actually have an influence on what you're doing now. Like, for example, like let's say, for example, I died in loneliness, and then so then teacher ask you, so what lesson did you get from it? And I was like, well, you need to pay attention to your people. So then when you like actually die, you're not alone. And then not necessarily that you want to be with party people and shit, you know, but there's the other way around. There's like relationship that you miss when you were working for so long. So the whole point was your work became much more important than your ancestors, your relatives, your blood, people who you connected with very much. And actually, now that I'm saying that to you, actually now I get it even more deeper.
So important, man.
Yeah, so you need to pay attention to, because you karmically connected to people who came here with. So there is a lot of a situation and things that you need to fix and take care of. You know what I mean? So
Yes.
the bottom line is, though, you see something in those situations that you might want to fix here. So let's go back to detailization of everything that goes on.
Please.
So you went to hypnosis, and you're really conscious. You're really conscious about everything that goes on. Like, you hear everything. I was thinking that I might never went as deep as I could, but I did.
Not went into trance, right?
It wasn't like a trance. It was like a meditative state where you are feeling everything. You can see everything. Like, but with your eyes closed. But then you're like in between sleep time and in between being awake. It's a weird situation. This is where I had my trouble keep myself when I'm alone. When you want to go to sleep or you want to whatever, then I get difficulties to actually, like, to figure it out, where to stop, where to not go deeper, where this state of this meditation. But she kept me there. And then when I came home already from Malaysia, I was watching a lot of documentaries through this lady. Her name is Dolores Cannon. She left in 2013, and sort of Mandela left in 2000. There's many people left in 2013, and they didn't die. They just left. So my whole point is Mandela Effect, that we're gonna try to tap.
We're gonna get into that too. Yeah, definitely.
But that's all interconnected of where we are right now, who we are right now, why we got this fabulous situation to be now at this moment of planetary life. Why did we choose? Why did we actually got a chance to experience that? Because by all means, all I know is that this is happening for the first time in the history of whatever go back to
all existence,
planetary. And I'm talking about the whole universe existing, because everybody watching us, how can planet with all these fleas inside and out on it can descend like as a whole thing? Like, how did this possible? And everybody's watching. And this is actually, I'm watching this lady channel back now to Earth through the daughters and through some other channelers, and she's saying, guys, this is amazing. What are you doing? I mean, when you were when she was in the body, she didn't kind of experience it, because you're so physical, you're so dense. You have, by all means. And so what's happening now is that we're moving to the center of our galaxy. And there's a lot of things moving with us. And then when we interbreeding in between dimensions, that's what's happening. But let's go back. This is why I went to a past life regression, because I wanted to find out, had a chance to be here now, because for whatever reason we got like we earned it. We earned it for some reason. So I wanted to find out why. And why we got it so bad here, with such a sufferers, with such a you know, this free will makes so much things. I'm really sorry. Can you see me? Because I'm kind of losing you in and out.
I can see you perfect, but it's okay. Yeah, it does that sometimes.
Can you
but
see
we see
me?
you perfect. See you perfect and hear you perfect.
Okay, because I'm kind of losing you, so I was thinking maybe I'll ask, double check. So, and this is why I went to Path Regression, to figure it out, why I have a chance and why you have a chance and why we all of a sudden become so energetically, you know, light and starting to understand things. 10 years ago, it wasn't like that. Me and you wasn't thinking about that. You know what I mean? So
I was
these changes that's going on is a lot.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, yeah, maybe you're a lot more advanced than me, but I wasn't. I'm getting big hit now. I'm getting like upside the head with a baseball bat. Bam.
It's a good explanation.
So back, but yeah, I mean that's how it is. And going back to hypnosis, so I went to a couple of my lives. I understood few things. I mean, I think I understood few things, and my higher self, and I couldn't. We didn't know how to speak to each other, and this, which is the most common thing. First of all, they don't speak our language. They can only. I could only say it what I experienced, which is very unique. He give you with your eyes closed, and then your subconscious give you a picture, yes or no, and you for some reason you know that for sure. It's either yes or no. So it was, does he need to do what he does? Yes. It was quickly. Use his hand to heal people? Yes. Before she finished the question, yes. It was so quickly, and I was like, "What? Why you? What's going on here? Who's talking?" So it was a split, this second in between our reality and somewhere else. Where
not even talking. Right? It's like you were completely connected the whole time, right? Just connected, like not even a second, right? It's just a mutual, like yes, like or no, right? It's so interesting.
It was even to a split second. Forget about it. It wasn't even a split. It was like, it was something more. It was something more to it. And yeah, I wouldn't give you a lie. I don't have an explanation to that, but I definitely want to have, because now is that time. So I definitely have an urge to find things out. And then I remember going back to our previous conversations where we talk about and all Aryan. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how we came here with what type of nationality and bodies, because now, I mean, inside, you know, we're all different. You know, it really probably matter what kind of soul you came here with, but incarnation on this earth, it's temporary. You know, you earn that. We earn that. You know what I mean? But then, what bothers me is, where am I going next? And then why have I earned it? You know what I mean? Maybe I'm not supposed to know. Maybe that's a part of the game.
Do you want to know?
And, you know, something. Actually, yes. Yeah, I want to know by all means, because, you know, once you have a knowledge, you know what path is yours. We sort of like a little blind kittens when they just born. They don't know where to go, and they're just like bumping into the, you know, box, into the wall of box. But and we are kittens, brilliant state of, like, you know, we got it for granted. We got it. So it's probably what we needed. But I think I'm beyond that. I think I want to know. What exactly I need to do what I need to do. You know, you came here to get knowledge. You came here to ascend your remembrance. Your this brain cells that didn't really work when you were. They might work, but not to the point where you can manipulate matter. So when we in this kind of reality, which is have a lot of different realities, and then this particular seems so real to me, and I want to figure it out, and I have that urge. Some people ask me why.
Do you feel like? Do you feel or have a feeling like this is your last incarnation, as in a physical body? I mean.
You know what? I want to say yes because everybody who I speak to, I get to talk to people who have their last incarnation, who finish.
Mm.
And because everything that goes on in this world, most of us are finished. Most of us who earn this incarnation, most of us are finished here. That's my feeling. And most of us who want to have urge, by the time I'm 33 and I have an urge to find out what the Jesus consciousness is, and that's why it is helping us to ascend, and why love is such a big frequency, and why we got it so lost, why we lost it, why these archons and all the other entities, why did they try to like manipulate us? We're so easy to be manipulated on one hand side, and I want to understand why we are so precious and why we, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think I have my last thing here. I think I think I have many gigs here on this earth. Yeah, and I think you did too. I think we some.
Going back, I'm sorry, going back to your past lives, right? Was there any period, because you went back two, you said, right? Three. Was there any period in between those that you were in a limbo at all, or was it just life?
Limbo? You mean like what the like? What do you mean limbo?
Without a physical body.
Interesting question. I was a ET at my the most last life.
Oh my God.
I was
Please
ET.
tell us about this. Please tell us about this, because
Yeah,
most people don't realize that you can reincarnate in different planets and different dimensions, and you know.
By all means, by all means. I mean, only people who are really close-minded boxes, not open boxes, closed boxes. They think that we're like that. But the open box is that you understand that you are something else, and you've had many different something else's. And here, this one is not that important. But anyway, regardless of my third life, I was a captain. I was a young, I think, Nordic-looking entity creature made in some lab. I was a clone type thing. I didn't have feelings, and I worked at the captain of the ship, and I had many grays working with me. I was a captain. I was shipping goods throughout the space, and with some 100 years of working, I've earned to have a vacation, to have a learning vacation. They send me to a planet. They send me to a different planet to figure things out, how to learn how to love, how to have feelings. It's very important. Now that's a parallel where I think I got to this planet. Learn feelings.
But what did you see? Tell us what you seen as as this ET clone entity.
So I'm very tall. I'm like 7'5". I'm 7'5", blonde looking with blonde eyes, very tall being.
So a little shorter than you are now. Oh man.
So and then I was a captain. I've earned in an academy to become a captain, and once I become a captain of a big spaceship, I was very happy to earn this gig or earn this job, and I was working for a long time, and I had many other entities working for me, but they were smarter than me because I was pretty young. But I had only human intellect, not humanoid. That little bit bigger intellect had a chance to manipulate the ship with the mind. So I was that mind, but all the grays, the little grays, the slaves that were working with me, they actually had more knowledge than me, so they were helping. But I was commanding them what to do, and it was for a long time. I was changing grays, I was changing ships, I was changing goods, I was sending. So it was a long while, and then I earned the time where I go to a different planet and learn feelings. Now I do get to think that this is where I am now, and this is the planet where I got myself into, because it was my last life in all three. It was my last one. But the planet where I went to, it was like Avatar. It was a very bright plants, bright and my wife, matter of fact, went to almost not the same, but perhaps the same looking planet at some stage. And it was no human beings; it was animals. But they accepted me. They didn't want to fight me. We had a telepathic exchange with animals. Yeah, it was great. But then I wasn't there for a long time. I was lonely. So it was like this. I went to one planet. It was a metal planet where I fall in love with energy. It was a big energy. It was just floating. And then when I learned how to love, I sort of had experience with the energy, and the energy, it taught me what the love is. So kind of was in love with that thing, with that energy. It was weird. But then once I've learned that, I went to a different planet to experience that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So now I get to understand why we on Earth, we experience things. So basically, I went to a different planet, and I was lonely there, but I didn't have lonely feelings. I was born with not having feelings. I was made in a lab, and this is where the weirdness comes, because wow, consciousness of mine was in a different body, and now my consciousness is this way, but back then it was that way, and here we go. This is a creation thing that I have no explanation about, and have a real big urge to figure things out, to figure that out.
Wow, that's, oh my goodness, this is like, but like, let's say the spaceships and everything, were they kind of like what we would see in movies, or was this something totally unfamiliar to us? Like you couldn't even explain it if you could.
To some extent, if you've seen Star Wars, or if you've seen some things, like there's a big, humongous ship, like an airplane, but like 20 airplanes, big, like huge. And then we had kind of two type of engines. We had this engine that like take us interstellar, like, and then we had some engine that take us like I don't know, call it interstellar or whatever you want to call it, but like a regular like engine where you turn it on and you. So,
but to understand this properly, and I think what's really interesting is you mentioned that you were able to control the ship telekinetically, meaning was the ship one with you, kinda, or like was it that kind of thing?
It wasn't telekinetically. Telekinetically, you manipulate matter, like you move things.
Yeah,
this was a different.
So you were.
Go ahead.
You were So it wasn't. So it was telepathically you were connecting to the ship.
Yeah, it was more of the telepathic connection to the. Yeah. So ship is the entity. Ship is a computer, and it connect with your consciousness on a deep level, not subconscious.
Oh, okay, that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was asking. So you were kind of like one with the ship, right? It was.
Yeah. It communicate with you. You guys, both of you, know what needs to be done. So it's like almost like conversation with a brother, like pum 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 pum, down. So, and whereas any question to communicate with me, like that. So it's a different level.
You know what just baffled my mind, and I think a lot of people are going to be asking themselves this. You said reincarnated in a clone. Are you telling us that it's possible to that a clone can have a consciousness?
By all means, clones always have consciousness. They take consciousness from people and put it into clone. That's how they exist. Half of the world, the presidents are cloned. Yeah.
Wow.
Half of the world presidents are cloned. Well, like half, almost the whole world is cloned. If I would tell you see, I'm following some people up on the internet who have an urge to say truth, because this is the time. Now, whoever gonna confirm me with like, oh, you're bullshitting, or you're listening to some unrealistic conspiracy theory. Now, this is why they call it conspiracy, because it's so easy to make it unreal.
Yes.
But there is a lot of stuff in this world that we are at the end of time, and end up in the beginning of different time. So we got to end this time. It was 1,000 years of wars, 1,000 years of archons. So this was their time here. Now it's going to be 1,000 years of peace. and all of us gonna leave. All of us gonna go to a different reality. So that's why we see this Mandela thing, because it's really connected to it, because we're tapping into this real closely now. But to feel it, you need to be a little bit more spiritual than just, you know, than just thinking about money and the war and all that. So going back to,
I'm sorry, would you agree with me?
Go ahead.
Would you agree with me? You know, like you said, conspiracy theory. And whenever I have a, you know, a conversation about any of this with someone that tells me this is conspiracy theory, and I tell them straight up that, you know, it's so real to me, as real as, I don't know, as they think that, you know, they're a certain skin color or something, you know what I mean, or that they can raise their hand or lower their hand, you know what I mean, like I know and feel this, and I know what it is, you know what I mean, and what's not. Like, to me, it's beyond real.
Now that's the big difference between you and them, and me and them. And I think that's why we connected with you on many levels, because we don't question certain things if we feel it's right. Now, I think we learn how to feel it was hard. And I don't even think we learn how to feel it. I think we know. That's the whole thing that I think about myself. I think I know. And every time I listen to something like this, I get a feeling of like my heart beating faster or slower, meaning if it's true or not. So this is how I resonate. But honestly, so many people not supposed to know this. So many people came not ready. So many people gonna fight for their understanding and for their provement that this is conspiracy. I am not gonna fight to prove anyone, because it's not my job. I don't think it's my job to prove to anyone that whatever knowledge that I get from whatever teachers is not conspiracy, because it's not my job. My job is to change myself. And perhaps with you, change some 2-3 people who watch this video. You know, it's we got to start with small, and then there's going to be a big change.
I have a question right now. So
Go ahead.
This experience, this amazing experience you had in Malaysia, and, you know, what, going back 3 lifetimes. Now you're back. You know, a couple of days passed. How has it changed you, and has it at all?
I'm on a constant change plan. Like, I can't say that it changed me because I keep doing that. I realized that I have a lot of density of third dimension here, like, you know, with stuff that you do home and with the regular people, and I need to do that as my job, as my home duties, my, you know, my gig that I'm doing here in this world. But it's with a parallel kind of path that I keep getting information. And I think the reason why we're here is to get as much information and to take your physical body to that other side. It's easy to die and go there, but it's not easy to get information to realize how to do this when you still have the physical appearance.
I guess that's what I would call real enlightenment. You know what I mean? To me, like what you just mentioned would be real enlightenment. You know?
Correct. That's what everybody did. That's what.
I don't see you right now. Oh, there you go.
That's how those people did it. Whoever did it. I mean, I can say names, but it doesn't matter because people keep on saying that this is conspiracy. It doesn't really matter what people think, because me and you are not going to grab 100 people with us. You know what I mean? We're going to grab ourselves, and that's the whole bottom line. It's happening now. I was watching some videos from 2006, from 2008, from 2012. Now it's 2017, my friend. 18. And you know, the time goes on, and the limitations of us becoming smarter, you know, we becoming thinner. You either go being bad in terms of like understanding of everything, or not understanding, or you're moving forward. So I think I'm moving forward in the sense of getting the knowledge and having an urge, as I told you earlier, that into want to get some knowledge. So that's where I am. I'm participating in this. I'm open-minded. I want to get things done, not only in physical appearance, but also in the spiritual and interdimensional. You know, so we got that opportunity, and so why wouldn't we use it? You know, it's changing me. To answer your question, it keep changing me. I open up a lot of files, like zip files. I'm unlocking them, I'm unpacking them, and they're like, whoa, okay, got it. Aha moment, you know, and you keep going. So even this with you recording these videos, it doesn't really necessarily mean if anybody going to watch this. As a matter of fact, I don't even want anybody to watch this. I mean, I know you do, but I don't, because what I'm doing right now is I'm opening my mind with you, and I'm kind of learning as well by speaking some of that stuff. So it's kind of doing different thing with me when I'm recording these videos with you. Maybe one day somebody going to watch this, you're going to have it in your collection, and we're going to be more updated than somebody else. But that's not what's important. Of course, we need to enlighten people. But how would you enlighten someone if they cannot see beyond their nose, beyond their ego, beyond their conspiracy theory horizon? You know what I mean? So we're not here to change people. Perhaps me and you here to give them some energy so they can change. You know what I mean? That's how I think. That's why I think I'm here.
Beautiful.
You know.
Either way, man, I'm very thankful, beyond thankful that you agreed to do this, man. It means a lot to me, you know. Like you said, a very important thing when we even started doing this. That, you know, we're not doing it, for ourselves, really. You know, we would like, you know, for people who is, you know, who is open to it, and who has earned that that openness, you know, for those people to know, you know, that they're not alone, and we're here, you know, and exchange information and keep it growing. And I think, you know, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm truly and sincerely beyond thankful. This means so much to me.
Hey, I appreciate you. As I told you just right now, I want to make a parallel, so you don't think that we here on the ego part trying to not care anybody who watching this. I don't have expectations that somebody will take something out of it. If there is people who watch this, like your sister, like your mother, or someone else who can tap into a very thin individual universal reality that we have, each of us individually, great. If nobody do this, I mean, I grew a little bit for this hour, and I grew, and we connected a little bit more. I got more intel, but expectations shouldn't never be there. Like expecting me become enlightened right after this hypnosis, mistake, because if you don't experience expectations, things come and you're surprisingly happy about it. When you experience expectation, like I'm going to become angel now, well, guess what? If you're not, then you have a depression in your head. So the whole thing is like, I don't expect people to do this, but if they do, and if we help, I will keep doing that. I will keep getting information and sharing, because just because I can. I don't know how and why, but just because I can, and I will do that with you. I mean,
I just want you to know that I myself grow very much. We done this twice, and the second one was so mind blowing. And of course, I watched it over, and at work I put it on, and I listened to you, and freaking each time we do this, man, and we're finished, I swear to you, I run to the fridge like I freaking have munchies, man, and I haven't been smoking in a long time, man, and I feel so good and happy. I go to sleep, because I always had sleep problems, but you know, I go to sleep calm, and I thank, you know, the creator. And so just to tell you, I grow very much. I think your information is, you know, is unprecedented, and the way, you know, the sincerity in you, you know, is very, very welcoming and very warm, and it's man, you know, a part of me, well, actually all of me would wish, you know, everyone was on that wave, you know. It'd be such, you know, a much better world, you know. And just but I guess, you know, the test grounds wouldn't be I don't know, as you know, as
yeah, thank
hard,
you.
I guess.
I do get that feeling back and forth. So I do feel it. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm blessed to have a chance to do this. As a matter of fact, I always had somebody was telling me that I needed to do that, and I was like, how am I going to record videos? How am I going to do this? And why? And who am I? You know what I mean? Here we go. You came to the picture, and now we have some conversations. And then I have an urge to be precisely sincere about what I feel and how I get my information. So it teach me to do some things precisely. It teach me to think about what I'm saying, because some people might watch it and it might affect some people. But the truth is this is where this is the most important thing. And I think we're going to be on the next level, like 1 year down the road. We're going to be doing some different things already on a different level. So this is a good start. I do appreciate you backwards, I mean, or frontwards, and then likewise and clockwise, you know. So then I'm sharing. If 2 words out of our 2-hour video affected someone, we did what we needed to do, and I appreciate you. Thank you very much for doing that, man.
Thank you, man. So dope, seriously, man. And yeah, so you have been you know, kind of developing your own theories on the Mandela Effect, right? You wanna talk about that a little bit? What's
Yeah. So I've did a small research which has absolutely resonated with me. I was watching the best scientists in the world met the most richest people in the world, and it was a big thing. And rich people as scientists, okay, we know we're in the matrix, and we know things that happen and how to get out of here. Now we pay you big bucks now, boys. Let's do it. And here we go. Here the scientists start to speak. Here the scientists start to say that, you know, that beyond all of that, it's a computer code that make all of this matter. If you can change the code, you can change the matter. And we are part of this computer solution, game, whatever.
Let me ask you something. Have you had your own Mandela experience? I mean, like, because I know I had mine with freaking Fresh Prince, man. Like, if you know Fresh Prince the way I know Fresh Prince, and you look at the theme song now, it blew my mind, man. And then anatomy too, man. It seems like our anatomy has shifted, which is mind blowing too, man.
I didn't hear what you say about Fresh Prince because I was interrupted by a connection.
That was Fresh Prince theme song was my personal Mandela experience. You know, that I actually can say I remembered the song this way, like, you know, because I was crazy about Fresh Prince since I was like 11, and now the theme song is different. You know what I mean? So, and it blew my mind. But my question was, have you had your own Mandela experience?
You know what? I probably did, but I consider myself a little clumsy in the sense of like paying attention to things. I do get, and it's not the benefits by all means that I should pay attention more, but I don't care, even if it's different reality for me, even if there's something different that came from a different reality to me. Well, great. Now, if I'm going to pay attention to those little changes, like people just make little big things, and then how is it going to affect you? Okay, you know, you tap into a different reality. They Fresh Prince from there a little different. And what? Thankful for that. You know what I mean? Thankful for that. I tap into a different reality and I heard some different Fresh Prince, or the statue sitting down differently. People making such a big things out of it because it's a panic attack. They don't understand that, you know, it might happen. It might happen. I accept it.
But
I accept it, and I'm happy with it.
Did you see, because you're an athlete, and I know you know human anatomy, have you looked up and seen that our anatomy has shifted? Our kidneys, our liver is bigger, you know, like crazy shit like that. You know?
I see revolution, because evolution is actually other word. It's not. We need to use the proper language here. The revolution of our bodies. Like, you look at athletes who are doing something that nobody never could be done. I mean, that's how evolutionary we're growing. Makes sense now. It makes sense now when I'm starting to realize what's going on, we're in a sense of computer reality, you know, or whatever reality we live in. It's controllable. You need to want to do certain things, and you will. And that's why all the Bible and everybody was saying that we are co-creators, we're creators, we can change things, we can change reality, we can change this and that. We're capable of doing that. Once you accept that, nothing, all of that, I accept it.
Right.
And none of that it's funny to me. Mandela Effect, and then, you know, this growing of human beings, bigger liver. I accept that. Great, wonderful. Keep going. What's next?
I actually
that's my thing.
I actually have you know, like my own theory and everything, and after, you know, all these years, like you know, because I love to, and I think it's a good advice for everyone to, you know, don't just believe in, well, obviously, you know, you should just know or not know, but I'm saying, you know, if you're presented with information, don't just believe or not believe, but actually analyze and make your own theories and figure out if it's, you know, logical to you. You know what I mean? Like, don't just see a video and say, okay, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's very important. I've always tried to do that. So yeah, you know, with this this Mandela effect, but as you yourself know, to people that know Vedic scriptures and, you know, higher knowledge like that, that it's not a crazy idea for us. You know what I mean? That our consciousness is very much a creator, and, you know, we created everything. You know what I mean? As for ourselves, you know, we created everything, our lives, your path. You know what's crazy? That even your body, you know, completely you create everything exactly the way it's supposed to be. And you make a very good example that it's like a computer code, you know, people. But this is the problem that I have with, like, Mandela effect, as far as how crazy it's gotten on the internet. I think there's also people out there that are trying to scare other people. You know what I mean? Because people are getting people are getting freaked the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like, you know, oh this, oh that, oh my god, oh my, you know, people are freaking out, man.
That's why I don't spend that much time on it, in terms of, because this is like majority of this is for a panic attack. Oh, things have changed. Yeah, we have different realities, accept that. We have different guys who have been doing slightly different things, accept that. So if you're not going to make any better for yourself, if you're going to panic, you're going to be in fear, and now that's exactly what they want. They want to take away from your high frequency. Now, I'm not trying to lose my high frequency, so I don't pay much attention to panic. I accept that it might happen. You know, I accept that there's so, and I will listen to Fresh Prince, as a matter of fact. I will listen to that. So I will do my research.
You gotta listen
but
to
honestly,
the theme song. You gotta listen to the theme song. You're gonna freak the fuck out. It's just the whole, you know, like, what the fuck? Like, I know this was not it, bro. Like, no, you know, like, it's some freaky shit, man.
Yeah. And I guess what? I'm happy because we probably switched realities. Or Fresh Prince was old. You know what I mean? So if we switch realities, if we tapped into something else and we went into a different thing, and now things slightly different here, hey, happy days. You know, we went through. We had a chance to go somewhere else. Fine.
Can you please?
Maybe this is a better place. But people keep bitching and moaning about this thing changing.
Can you please go deeper into what you think about the whole holographic universe concept and you know, the quantumized holographic universe, you know, computer simulation, you know, what do you think about all that? Do you think that there might be a super hard drive out there, you know, or do you think of it in a more spiritual way?
You know, my understanding now, very recently, so that video that I've listened about scientists and rich people, they actually proved that there is quantum computers, about $30 million each, on each part of the world, that controlling our matrix, controlling this game, controlling these rules, controlling this density, controlling this frequency, controlling the waves. And it's so powerful that we are under control. So the whole bottom line is, what I want to say is that this scientists, they actually understood how it works, and they shared with humanity. I want to share this video with you. I want to send it to you. I don't know if you've probably seen it.
Is it when like a bunch of scientists? Is it when a bunch of scientists sit down and actually talk about the you know, that they found a code and, you know, in reality and things like that?
Like that, but it was many people. It was I don't know, maybe 1,000 of people sitting on the stands, and then one guy was like guiding the whole thing. It was like MC, and then it was a 5 or 6 or 7 scientists.
Yeah, I see.
Weird looking guys who speak language that we don't understand. So, and that made me believe that, and it spent all day life in science, metaphysics, and physics. You know what I mean? And what can I say? You know, do they want to scare people about this? Why would they want to do that? And then why Elon Musk actually came with Richard Branson, and why they asked for getting this out of it? You know, for getting us out of it.
Well, I have a little theory of why the scientific community and the quantum physicists and you know, all these you know, because to me, you know, most of them are still backed up by whoever's running the whole show on Earth. You know, I don't want to say Illuminati because this fucking word is just like, it drives me crazy. But you know, whoever, those few families, you know, whoever's running the show, I think these physicists, you know, quantum physicists are, you know, backed by them, and I think they're really trying to super hard to bring us down from our natural spiritual self and say, well, you know, you might be just a simulation. You know, you might just be, you know, there's this, you know, some being out there that's sitting there and playing on his computer and fucking, you know, telling you where to go. You don't mean that much. I had that little theory. I don't know, you know.
I'm tapping in with you on that, but I think they're losing. They're losing because all the frequency that's going up right now, they're losing because it's now turned on to a maximum. Kill us by all maximum power. Kill the spirit. Kill the soul. Kill the physical. Kill the dimensional. Because they don't. It's not their goal to go there. It's our goal. Because we are spiritual beings. Now they are different beings, so you know they're fighting for their right, we're fighting for our rights, and they're losing. End of my theory that they are losing and we're winning. That's why they're panicking. They're panicking. That's why all the chemtrails on where you live are deadly. That's why the food is very bad, and now it's even worse. Man, you can't find good food on market because it's just weird. You know, it's just like how things been under control. Yeah, I do agree with you a little bit on that.
Is it the same?
On that. And it's, you don't have to call them Illuminati because they're not really that.
Yeah, I hate that word. I hate that word. But with food, is it the same on that? Is it the same with food on that part of the world that you barely can't get organic food, like where you're at?
A little bit easier than where you at, and a little bit easier than back in Ukraine. But yeah, it's everywhere polluted with GMO, with genome modified organisms, with Chinese modifying things. It's polluted, and you need to know where you're buying. You need to know where you're eating. That's very, very, very important, because as actually I want to share this video with you with David Wolf and David Wilcock. How important is to have antioxidant things in your body, because you know to not oxidize your body, and this is what we don't do. And they said, and then they actually broke it down to pieces where this calcium, how we eat calcium, how we calcify ourselves, you know, how it's actually worst. And it was a surprise for me how the mushrooms are different entities, organisms that make a lot of deep influence on us at this time, and we need to eat. He named like 20 of them, and most of them don't even grow here. So I want to share that with you. We probably want to do a video,
please,
a little discussion on it, so we can break it down for people. But it's very important. I want to share that with you.
Can you
How
talk about
important is
can you talk about two things? I'm so sorry that I interrupted you. Isn't there some green plant that they turn into powders? You know, it grows somewhere in Southeast Asia that's very, very high on antioxidant and things like that. I can't remember the name of it or something like that. No.
spirulina?
Yeah,
Spirulina?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Is it spirulina?
Spirulina. That's it. That's it. Is that have you tried that? Is
Yeah,
that good?
yeah. I eat that all the time. I do a. It tastes like a seaweed. It tastes weird, but that honestly, like when you eat that, you feel like I'm giant.
Mm.
To eat every day. Yeah, yeah.
And the second thing,
And you can buy that in the States. One thing. I have 2% on my.
okay,
Go ahead, go ahead,
it's okay, it's okay. 2%, right?
go ahead, bro. Go ahead, go ahead.
2%. You say you had 2%.
Yeah, I have 2% on my phone, and I forgot my charger, and I don't have a camera on my computer right now. So if
Okay.
it's cut off, let's make an end of it for today. I'll try to come because now I don't work in the mornings. Now I can do this with you more often, but I just need to get a lot of fresh intel for you to share with. So I'm gonna need to do my homework as well. I need to do
Listen.
my homework. So
First of all, everything that comes out of you is fresh intel all the time, and it's very inspiring, very enlightening. Seriously, but okay. So until your phone dies, just please wrap up with the most important things. You know that you think you want to share.
the the most important thing we need to is equalize our frequency. So everything is frequency, right? If you understand how frequency work and you want to feel and resonate on different levels, raise your vibration, raise your frequency. And I'm telling you, techniques is done by a wording, by affirmation, by visualization, and by what you eat. You put in your body, you digest, and you make the energy out of yourself. So these three aspects is very important for us to at least exist to a normal extent like we're supposed to. Because if you don't do none of that, you're eating bad food, you don't chant, you don't think properly, you're not getting the intel that you should be getting because you are toxically low vibrating and you're getting bad intel. If you're vibrating on a low frequency, low intel. High frequency, high intel. Period. So this is very important where physical body is very important on how we resonate information. So I told you three things to get how to get your physical body in order. And then this is, I can go on like how you do yoga and how you do meditation. You'll get there. That your frequency needs to be higher. So first steps, it's you need to watch what you say and at least say things that energetically influence it. And they Sanskrit, they keep the energy, proper energy into these letters. Vibrate that into a frequency where it's like ooh, higher, where it's love, higher. And then you get things coming to you and you understand what to do next, so this is the most important thing that I want to add.
Thank you very much. So it's like as far as what you say and everything, I guess the Buddhists call it like correct speech or something, right? Like it's there's 13 things, but as far as speaking, it's like correct speech, right? So you have to watch what you're saying, that you're not speaking out of like anger and things like that, right?
Yeah, and it's very difficult to do because we're not used to that. They didn't teach us in school to watch what we say. And even with me right now, you can be harsh with your wife, bam, 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 because she just make you mad and stuff. So, and that's where this growth come into play. From your inside, because once you're speaking to your wife like that, you speak to everybody like that. You know what I mean? And I'm learning how to correct myself. And it's not about correct speech. It's about you have to speak with love. You have to share love, energy, frequency in your words, and then that's how you affect other people. But if you resonate bad stuff, The most important thing that you need to understand, if you, whoever you're with, that energy you share. So if you're with bad company, you share bad energy. If you're with good company, you share good energy. And you have to be protected in terms of who you're sharing energy with, and who can, you know, because if you don't understand that how important that is, then anybody can use you. Use your energy, use your body, use your frequency, you know, and you're like a machine for someone else. This is what awakening is all about. It's like you need to be under control, what you have, and you know what you're using, basically.
And there are a lot of people don't realize there are a lot of vampiric energy vampires sort of things out there, right? That just feed off of people's energies, right?
Correct. Yeah, they don't even know about that. They don't, like somebody don't know that they're angelic beings. That's like somebody don't know where they vampires, and they do that. You have to feel that. You have to feel that it all of a sudden, like you feel tired. That person just sucking out of you, and he does, because we don't understand what is under our control. I'm triggering my knowledge. I want to be under control of my world, of who's controlling me, and we're absolutely allowed to do that.
But you're saying try to feel, you know, try to feel if you know, if a person's just giving you a bad vibe, or you know, is it something like that?
Yeah, try to feel, that's number one. And then listen, because people don't listen to how they feel. It's like when you feel bad and like, oh, maybe I'm tired, maybe I drank too much coffee, maybe I did this, maybe I did that. Feel it. And if you don't like that person, you don't have to be with her. We're not there to be nice, you know.
You even shouldn't be, right?
So that's the whole bottom line. Yeah, I mean, spiritual world is not about being nice to someone else. Nothing like that.
Because then you're just gonna mess everyone up. Something very important that you said last time,
And yourself as well.
When something very, very important that you did last time, and I even talked about it, is you said you looked at the time and you said, you know what, let's stop. And I think this goes back to the point that you just proved, that it's very important not to fight with your intuition, right? Like if the signs are telling you, listen, you should stop, or you shouldn't go here, or something like this, you know, don't fight the shit. Like actually accept it and say, you know what, I'm gonna stay, I'm gonna stop, or you know, I'm gonna stop, or whatever, you know, things like that. That's what you mean, right? Like don't fight your intuition when it's talking to you. I think Dmytro, yeah, I think his phone died. I'm gonna try to. This is so amazing and so enlightening. Um, this is just beyond amazing. I would shoot. Honestly, I could you know go on forever. I will. I absolutely will make a. I'm trying to get Alicia to come on now. I've been trying to. Not trying, but I've been planning. Not planning because honestly, as far as planning goes, I'm very against planning, man. I think maybe Jim has come back or no. You know, all of creation, and it's, you know, I don't want to say especially us. I keep stopping myself, but all of creation was intended to be free. So you know, things like planning, things like time. Um, you know, I can think of so many more examples, but those kind of earthly invented things that were specifically um, created to control the masses. And one second, I will be right back. It's think of it as a commercial break, except we don't do commercials. All right, I'll be right back. One second. All right, I gotta use the bathroom. But yeah, we're back. I apologize. But yeah, I was trying to make a point. You know, I always get sincerely, but still angry. One second. Yeah, I just typed Alicia. She actually said something funny. But we're gonna get Alicia on. It's 12:22. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So yeah, the point I was trying to make, planning. You know, whenever someone that I want to see, it's always funny how you think of one thing and then a whole point arises. But I'm gonna try to stay on this one topic. The point that I'm trying to make. Whenever someone talks about planning, you know, it drives me freaking crazy because you know, first of all, people that talk about planning or who, you know, who say, oh, I'm on a tight schedule for the next couple of weeks or for a month, I can book you down next month to come talk to me. These people obviously know nothing of real reality and what this really is and what we really are. You know, and not even talking about who we are. Now I myself, you know, I'm not saying that I completely know, but I've been on this journey for a very long time, and like we just talked about with the great mind Dima, you have to analyze these things. You know, you can't. That's why, like I said in the beginning of the show, of the podcast, that's why I love Islam and the Quran. You know, because it tells you, you know, it doesn't impose. It tells you go and see and learn and then and analyze and examine and feel and then make your decision, as opposed to, I'm not going to point fingers, but a lot of traditions and a lot of belief systems corrupted by men, obviously, you know, they impose. They tell you, listen, if you're not down with us, then you're not down with no one. But the point I was trying to make about planning, you know, I always, whenever I think about planning, I always go back to an amazing book, and I think they have it translated in most of the major languages and most of, you know, not so major languages. It's called Master and Margarita, and for those that do know that book, maybe, you know, you're from the old Soviet countries, and, you know, maybe you read it and maybe you're like thinking like, what the F is this dude talking about, like, why? But that book is beyond philosophical, beyond spiritual. What Mikhail Bulgakov was able to do during that time, during such a crazy time in history for that place in the world, is unbelievable. And, you know, if you're a spiritual person or in any kind of way philosophical, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But the book opens up with two people, a young guy and an old guy, and, you know, they're discussing Christ. I hate saying Jesus, because, you know, Jesus was an earthly name. There was a lot of Jesuses at the time, of Christ. You know, it was like as common as John is right now. And Christ, you know, Christ means the anointed one. You know, I already talked about this, but Christ means the anointed one. That's why, you know, I don't want to say conscious community, but people that are more so awoke, they use such an understanding as Christ consciousness. But so the book opens up, and it's in a park in Moscow, and older guy and a younger guy are walking and talking in one of these famous parks, sort of like Central Park in New York. And the older guy, you know, he's imposing this idea of Christ, and you know, if he really existed or didn't exist. You know, they're having a whole discussion of the mortality of Christ. You know, the human and the God aspect of Christ, you know, or God's son, you know, things like that. And all of a sudden they get interrupted by another man that, you know, I'm not going to tell you the whole book step by step, but this man turns out to actually be the devil. And, you know, so you know, once you read the book, at the end of the book, you find out, and to me, this idea just blew my mind. It blew my mind at the time that I read this book. This was a long time ago, but it just blew my mind because, you know, anyone that's spiritual, even people that are religious, that are really into, you know, Christianity and the teachings of Christ, you know, we knew this all along, and obviously we know these things, that God, the super consciousness, you know, the super conscious, all-knowing, all-seeing, all-creative soul has created everything. And that means even, obviously, the fallen angel, you know, Lucifer. So, so the idea in the book is that God sent the devil to the most sinful city in the world at the time to judge good and evil, and basically to claim as many bad souls as he can by exposing them. So anyway, they're in the park, the old guy and the young guy, and they sit down on a bench, and the devil in human form, as an older, you know, maybe in his 70s man that looks like a foreigner to them, and to them in Moscow at those days, you know, you practically had no foreigners. And you know, he presents himself, he, you know, tells them his name, and they sit down and they start talking, and he starts asking them, the devil starts asking them their idea of life. And you know, and he's like, the first question that comes to him is like, so you know, who controls everything? And so the older guy is like, me, of course. So then the devil goes, so you don't believe in God? The older man's like, oh, preposterous idea. Of course I don't believe in God. So the devil's like, so, and you don't, I'm guessing you don't believe in the devil either, right? Because if, you know, most of the time, if you don't believe in God, obviously you don't believe in the opposite force. And the man is like, of course not. What, you know, what gibberish, what nonsense, you know, we don't, you know, this is a communist country. We know for a fact that man is the ruler of his destiny, which in a lot of ways is true, of course, but, you know, I will get into this later, or maybe in another video or whatever. But so then the devil's like, okay, fine. So if you control your own destiny, you know, you probably know what you're gonna be doing tonight. Old man looks at him shocked, like, of course I know what I'm gonna be doing tonight. So he's like, all right, well, you know, the devil's like, all right, what you gonna be doing? So the old man replies, he's like, well, tonight, you know, I'm gonna finish up here. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna take a bath. You know, eat an ice cream. read a newspaper, watch a little bit television, and then about 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to go to a poetic gathering that we have, every Wednesday night or whatever the day is was. So the devil's like, all right, well, what if I told you that once you leave here, there's going to be a woman carrying olive oil in a big jar, riding a bike, and there's going to be a trolley passing, and while you're going to attempt to cross the street, the lady will fall on the bike, spill the olive oil. You're going to slip on the olive oil, fall in the tracks of the trolley, and it's going to cut your head off. Dude's looking at him freaking shocked, like, what the F? Like, what are you talking about? So the point I'm trying to make is, so the devil responds with this. He's like, well, I mean, he's like, I'm trying to make sense. Like, if a man controls everything, doesn't he have to have a plan and be completely sure of it for at least the next, 100 years? So for all of those that haven't read the book, grab it. It's one second. Grab that book. For all the spiritual people out there, and for all those that actually have understanding of and knowledge of the Bible and the teachings of Christ and all these things, you're gonna get a kick out of it. And for people, oh my God, do we have Alicia? Oh no! Hi.
Hi.
Hey, you look just like your avatar. That's so dope, you hottie, you.
It's because I'm wearing my wig.
Is it? That looks... Listen, you look just like your avatar. Did you just hop out of a comic book like a super sexy villain or superhero?
All three of my cosplays are villains.
Oh my God, you villain.
Poison Ivy,
Hi, Alicia.
Catwoman, and Harley Quinn.
You really like that movie. What is that movie called? One you were telling me about last time with fucking... Yes, you really liked it, didn't you?
No, it was completely off of the... It was completely off.
Oh yeah. Tell me why it was off, yo, because you're like the comic book encyclopedia, man, I swear.
Because the Joker is actually an abusive, aggressive, manipulative asshole and basically treats Harley Quinn like shit. And that's where the spinoff comes, where she has her own comics and stuff like that. But they showed him, like, asking her if she was ready to dive in, and, like with the vat of acid that she, like, falls into, and she falls in willingly. Well, no, in the comic book, he actually shoves her into the vat.
Holy shit. Are they gonna have sequels of the movie?
Yeah. Go on. They're already talking about it.
That's cool, man. Have you seen any good... Yo, honestly, to me lately, like, they've been slacking with movies, man. I think, like, cinematography, real true cinematography, just like all other art these days, is like slowly dying, man. Do you agree? Like, have you seen anything good, like, where you were like, wow, that it, you know what I'm saying, that overtook you, like, this is a good movie? Have you seen anything like that lately?
Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man wasn't bad.
Really? I haven't seen it.
They tied it in really well with Winter Soldier.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So was it just like really good graphics, or was it like the storyline was actually good? Because I think that's what's been missing lately, is the freaking storyline, man.
The storyline was really good. They did a lot of backstory about him, and they, like, actually had him, like, get into the whole semantics of, like, why he wanted to be an Avenger and what he did to try and become an Avenger and how hard he worked. And they actually had morals in the whole idea thing, but I don't want to give too much away because it'll just kind of blow the whole movie out.
Who's playing Spider-Man this time?
Oh gosh. Hold on. That's a good question. I actually don't know who the kid was, but I'll tell you, he was pretty cute.
Why? It's like it's some new guy. It's not the one that played the old one.
Nope.
So how you been, Alicia?
I've been pretty good. How about you?
How did the I'm good, thank you. How did the show go? The modeling, what do you call it? The runway show, man. I don't even know what to call it. How did that
Well,
go?
it was a fashion show, basically.
Fashion
Yeah,
show,
runway
fashion
fashion
show.
show.
How did that go?
Yeah, it went really good. Oh my gosh, it was like crazy. It was a little, they weren't coordinated exactly on time, so there was a lot of breaks and stuff like that. So they were putting a lot of like different things in there and stuff. That's why like the video feed's not like a straight across. Instead, you know, I had to break it up into pieces because it was like excerpts things in between each one of the sets because they were trying to get the kids ready for each different walk.
Did the girls have fun?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Listen, the idea that I got is basically that because the girl in the beginning, I guess it was her clothes that she was presenting or whatever, but the presenter of the fashion show was talking about how important it is for a child to express themselves through fashion and things like that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, in the beginning of the show, they had a discussion about how kids should really learn to express themselves through dance, art, music. You know, even just doing the fashion shows and walking them and practicing for them gives children confidence and builds their strength. Like, for example, Anastasia has always had stage fright. She's always had it since she was little. Like, she would get up on stage and she would be instantaneous crying. For her, this was a big step. So, like, her smiling and being all, like, proud and, like, walking down there, like, that's been a huge, like, building stone for her because she actually, as soon as she finished doing that and everything, started taking my handkerchiefs and, like, tying them around her neck and was like, oh yeah. Like, she's like, it's kind of like broke her out of her shell and really given her a lot more pep and confidence and stuff like that. Like, oh, I'm not average anymore. Like, I'm something. Like,
How did she overcome her fear, and what would be like? Did you have a hand in that? And if yes, what would be your advice to all the kids and all the people out there? How do you overcome fear like that? Like shit, like I'm scared of mice, like and but talk about stage fright in particular. Like how did Anastasia overcome her fear?
it's taken years. She's always been afraid, and it was always positive reinforcement. It was always everything's going to be fine, everything's going to work out, lots of hugs. And you don't force them into something that they don't want to do. If they're really uncomfortable about it, you try and ease them into it. It's not like, oh, you got to stay on the stage, like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of positive reinforcement and stuff like that. But me and you always talked about this. I believe it takes a village to raise a child. So I don't think that it was all something that I did. I think it was something that everybody who's come into her life, um, especially her teacher last year, Julian Moore, she did a wonderful job of like helping Anastasia. I mean, her kindergarten teacher worked with her. Her preschool teachers worked with her. Like everybody, like Mrs. Roach, which was the vice principal, like not last year but the year before that, she worked with my girls when they were, having confidence issues and they were feeling low. Like all these people came into play to the strengths and confidence of these girls to make sure that they felt secure in their own skin and really working with that, you know? And it's so funny because the school down here is like a complete anti-bullying, no nothing. And all four of my girls have experienced it in one way or another, even though there's not supposed to be any of that. And so I've had to work with them in coping mechanisms to make themselves understand, well, this is still going to happen, and not everybody's going to be able to fix it, but there's other ways to deal with it and not get yourself worked up and upset about it and let people bother you.
What do they actually do? Like as far as school, what are some? Do they have certain programs or certain like slogans throughout the school, or how are they? Because you said it's like anti-bully, but what are they actually doing to stop the bullying?
Well, they have, like you said, slogans, and then they'll have like a meeting, like a anti-bullying, like oh my gosh, what do you call it? Like one of those, you know, the where you sit down and they have a thing and they talk about it. The yeah, and so it was just like, and they would tell all the kids that it's in the school policy, and we don't do things like that. Like I don't know how they're going to deal with it this year because the principal that was there for all the years the girls were there, she is no longer she's no longer principal. She's like gone. So they just got a brand new principal that they just hired on. So things are going to be a little bit different in the school than it's been.
I want to ask you a question, but back to the fashion show. Did Anastasia in any way like get cold feet right before going out? Like how was the whole experience?
The only thing that I could say is I don't really think she got cold feet, but out of all of the fashion designers, because there was multiples, there was I think a total of 5 of them. She only walked for 3 as compared to her sisters who walked for all 5. So maybe in turn that was a more effective for her because she didn't walk every fashion designer. So she had that little bit of a break where she could confidence and feel a little bit more pepped. You know what I mean?
You said it's very important for like kids to express themselves. Obviously, I mean I agree with that. But do you draw a line somewhere? Like let's say you know Gwen comes tomorrow and she's like, "Mommy, I want to wear this underwear on my head and go to school." Like, do you draw a line somewhere, or are you like, "All right, baby girl, like do that as long as it makes you happy"?
Well, if she said that to me about school, I'd be like, unfortunately, I'm very interested in your expressionism and why you would want to do that, and I'd love to know a reason why. But as school policy, you have to wear a uniform, and you're not allowed to wear strange things in your hair. So I think that's not going to work very well. You might be sent home.
But what if not school? What if like you guys are going out and she's like, "Yo, well, maybe I took it too far and said underwear, but like remember the movie Big Daddy and the kid dressed like a dinosaur or not a dinosaur, a kangaroo to school and
Yes,
you know that
those are my children. Those are my children.
So like, do you let them?
I've been letting them dress themselves since they were about 6. I'm not saying that I do not always say something. Like Davino wear like plaids with like stripes, and I'm like, really? Like that's kind of a fashion faux pas. Like I just want to let you know, doesn't really work. And she's like, but this color matches this color, and I'm like, if that's what you want to do, I'm just letting you know it's a fashion faux pas, but that's fine. You can do it if that's what you feel comfortable in.
But so basically you encourage them, but like you try to sometimes you do it in a nice way. If you see like it's too over the top, right? You try to basically throw a bone, like give them a nice advice, right? Like, yo, I don't think you want to do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You always been a like I can safely say you have always been an individual. And like, you know what I mean, in the best possible way. I think that was one of the biggest things that attracted me to you as a girl and as a friend, as a human being when we first met. So so you think that carried on a little bit to the girls, like as far as
individuality? Oh heavens to Betsy, yeah, I've already seen it. Like Gwen's whole thing is Gwen didn't get picked on by the girls. Gwen got picked on by the boys. And it's like,
So-
you don't want to say, oh, he's picking on you because he likes you, because then they're going to be like, oh, well, you know, guys that treat me like crap, or, you know, oh, they like me. You know what I mean? So it's like a tough thing. But it is that sense that, like, these boys, these little boys, did like Gwen. They really did like her.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, and it was not the example that they would pick on her. It was the fact that when I would come to pick her up from school, they would say hi to me. Hi, Gwen's mom. How are you doing, Gwen's mom? Can I give you a hug, Gwen's mom? And then they would follow us through the playground as I would walk them to the gate back home. And I'm like, if these little boys don't like you, then I must be crazy, because who the heck stalks you on the playground while you're walking home?
Have you talked to her about the whole boys idea and things like that? Like maybe not the birds and the bees yet, but like, you know, like
Oh gosh, no, we have not talked about that. Thank the Lord.
liking boys, and you know, if it's okay, you know, like things like that. Have you talked to her about it? Because she's the eldest, obviously.
Yeah, she'll be 11 on the 25th.
Right. So have you talked to her about like liking boys and things like what if she comes? Or and first of all, do you are you guys close enough for her to be able to come to you and say openly, "Mom, I think I like a boy"?
Oh, she's already done that, and she already had a boyfriend for like 2 weeks.
Aw, tell me about that, yo. Like, did you freak out?
No, because it's like their definition of boyfriend is so hysterically funny and so like not even real that it just makes me laugh. And then because she says, oh, I was going out with so and so, blah 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 blah, and he likes me. And then she's like, oh, he was mean to my friend Courtney. I broke up with him because he punched her in the arm.
Oh.
And I was like, really now? And she's like, yeah, I'm done with that. So then it was so funny because then the whole year she was just like doing her own thing, and she was like, whatever. And all her little girlfriends were like getting boyfriends and all this stuff like that. And she's like, whatever. I don't need a boyfriend, because she's like my tomboy. She's totally a tomboy. Like, she would not put on the skirt for the life of her. She was like, it was like, I want a pair of pants, Mom, this morning. I want a pair of pants. I want a pair of uniform pants. I don't want this. I want a pair of uniform shorts. I don't want to wear a skirt. Why do I have to wear a skirt? This is stupid. I'm like, okay, fine. I had to make sure like pants were washed every single day. And so finally she got close to the end of the year, and she started getting this huge crush on, oh my goodness gracious. I just had the name on the tip of my tongue and I just missed it. Oh, Miss Canada's son. And Miss Canada is like one of the teachers there, but her son was in 5th grade with Gwen. And she got...
You're going to put it out like that?
No, they already know. Everybody knows. Because it was so funny, because we went into the meeting where we learned about Gwen's learning disability, the disjointed learning stuff that she has going on with her. And Miss Canada's like, she's so cute. She talks about her bunny. She brings in her stuffed bunny, and she lets Aiden play with it. He gets all excited, and I was like, oh, did you know that like Gwen has a crush on him? And she's like, oh yeah, I totally know.
Oh, that's so cute. Learning disability. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, what is it, and like how challenging has that been, and has it been challenging at all? Because she seemed like, you know, such an awesome, like, you know, I mean, obviously it's a learning disability, so maybe it's not something I would notice, but has that been a challenge?
The craziest thing is we knew that there was something wrong for years. And last year they tried to test her for ADD and ADHD. And I knew that's not what she had. And this year, Anastasia, we were having struggles with Anastasia, because in 1st grade, Anastasia she wasn't able to even read a chapter book before she got into 2nd grade. And Miss Moore, who was actually Davina's teacher in 4th grade, 3rd grade, she was 3rd grade, and then she moved down to second grade, and she knew that Anastasia was having this disjointed disability learning problem. So she of getting Anastasia tested in the beginning of the year. Like, she pushed it. She was like right on top of it, making sure it was situated, and she had this worked out. And we found out that Anna has disjointed. She, oh goodness, I can't remember the exact diagnosis, but like certain sounds, like letter sounds, she doesn't understand them and how they fit together. She doesn't understand certain words. They don't connect to her. It's more like a reading comprehension type thing. It's not really so much. But by the time Anastasia finished second grade, thanks to Miss Moore and the testing and the availability of what they can do to help her, and us working and doing extracurricular things, Anastasia can now read a full Junie B. Jones book, which is one of those thin chapter books, which is an accomplishment from going from a Reader 1 book, you know, the little kids' books, like Reader 1, to a full-on chapter book. And she has this renewed sense of, and like, oh my God, I can read. And like, we'll just like, we had bought her this Batman book, that because she's obsessed with Batman, because she loves Batgirl. Like, that's her thing. She's Batgirl. So she got this Batman book, and it was like this big chapter book that had like 7 chapters in it. She would sit in the car every time she'd get in the car, and she'd pick that book up and she'd read it. And she read all the chapters within 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. And she was so proud of herself. And she's like, look what I did. Look what I did.
She should be proud of herself, man. Is it a known condition, like, or is it a I don't like what do you even call it? Is it a condition? Like, what is it, like? You know, do doctors know about these things?
They don't label them anymore. They don't give them names.
Really?
Like, yeah, it's not this. Well, it's funny because I have the book, because I had started taking courses for teaching. And one of the classes I had was disabilities in learning and what happens with the kids and the disjointed, like, stuff like that. And so I knew everything that was coming up with Anastasia. Well, Gwen has that first part, the first comprehension piece, and the first reading thing that Anastasia has. But like, there was funny things that, like, okay, so they were doing, because so Gwen's older. So everybody since Gwen has been in first grade has missed this. So thankfully, Miss Moore had also noticed it in Gwen. So she pushed it through and was like, yeah, you really need to test Gwen. This is like, you really need to look at Gwen too. But when they started testing Gwen, they had given her what they call pattern words. They'd give you 2 words and they'd ask you how they form together. And the woman that was doing the test says Gwen took 2 separate words that she had not even said, and she said this word and this word. And the woman says to her, well, how do these words go together? And Gwen goes, they're sugaring. And she goes, what? And she goes, they're sugaring. They're melding together. Now, sugaring isn't a word.
Right.
And we started laughing about it when we were in the meeting, because we said, okay, well, maybe this kid's going to make up these words, and she's going to have, like, her own new language and have all these new words that we're going to be taking on and everything like that. Sugaring. But that, it seems that nowadays making up your own words is actually part of a learning disability, which I don't consider it a learning disability, because I've always made up my own words for years.
Right. I can back that up.
Like, you heard me.
Yes, I can back that up.
Shit, you know?
I think that's cool. I think it's awesome, man. I love that.
Yeah. And so she did that. So then they decided to put her on a secondary test. And this was it's not comprehension, but it's like more than that. So when they started doing the testing and they started breaking everything down, it seems that when Gwen, you speak to her, when you're talking to her, and you say something, and like let's say I talk the normal way I do, and I'll be like, okay, well this diffused into this other piece of work. And if I say the word diffused and Gwen doesn't understand it, it'll go in one ear and out the other, and she won't understand what you're saying, and she'll just kind of blow it off, and she won't hear anything you've heard because the word triggered her to be frustrated and not understand. So she doesn't admit to, I don't understand what you're asking me, or I don't understand what you said. She'll just get frustrated and be like, whatever, and like throw her hands up and walk away. She has comprehension issues where she's not processing what you're saying to her. Yeah.
So what were some of the challenges, and how did you help her out? Like, did you guys have to constantly help her out, or did she like do it on her own?
We just found this out like 3 weeks before she finished school.
This year.
Yeah. So this summer, like, I've had to take a step back from the way that I talk to her and how I deal with her, and remember that she's not always catching what I'm saying or how I'm saying it. And she isn't on point to say, I don't understand, I don't get what's going on.
Have the teachers been understanding as far as school? Because school can be tough, man. Some teachers can be real assholes, man. Have the teachers been?
I've locked out. My girls have had like the top most amazing teachers. Like, I have never had an issue with any one of the kids' teachers. I mean, once in a while I got annoyed with like 2 of their teachers, and I'm kind of a little snippy, and I was like, what the heck, but never teacher issue. I will say I never really cared for their principal. Now that she's no longer at school, I will say I never cared for her. And that was in the first one. Remember I told you about the whole issue with the schoolyard and her locking the gates and everything like that? Yeah. That was just horse crapola. And that's just a whole nother story. But yeah, teachers, I give all of them a lot of credit, because the crazy thing is like I said, Miss Moore had Davina for 4th grade, and then took on Anastasia for 2nd grade. Miss Johnson had Anastasia for 2nd grade or 1st grade, and then Miss Johnson moved to 5th grade and had Guinevere for 5th grade.
Nice.
So 2 teachers had literally taken on 2 different kids in my family. And then Miss Spur, like that's their kindergarten teacher, had Gwen and Debbie. She didn't have Anastasia or Zoe, but like it was like, honestly, there's not a single teacher that I've encountered so far that I've had any issues with.
Nice.
Like, and they all make jokes about it, because they all call me. They're like, "Oh, you're crazy art mom," because they don't know what, I'll walk in there and they'll be like, "What color's your hair today, Alicia?"
That's awesome, man. That's really good. The girls must be so proud of you, man. I mean, you're literally like the coolest freaking mom in the world right now, man. Like, like, all the kids are probably so freaking jealous, man. Like, I want a mommy like yours, man.
Well, it is amusing when I go on the school trips, because all the kids like hover. I'm
crowd
like,
around you.
How do I have 30 kids? I heard you're supposed to be with some of the other moms. Like, and then I'm the crazy mom, like, especially when we go to like the parks and stuff like that, or the water stuff and like the beach stuff. I'm the one that's like always jumping in the water. Like, you'll see a couple of the dads do it, but it's like I'm always the mom that's like running out there in the water and like
cool mom, man.
Kids and like running on the slides and playground and running after them, while like half the other parents are like over sitting on the benches, and I'm like, no, I gotta be with the kids. Oh, pushing on the swings, let's go.
That's so awesome, man. Listen, Alicia, do you have time? Do you have like a few minutes?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Can you give me 1 second, man? I gotta take the biggest pee right now. I'll be back in like 10 seconds, man.
Okay.
1 second. Hold on. I'm so sorry, man. I can't hold it anymore.
No, it's fine. You're good.
1 second. Okay, hey, I'm back.
All right, hold on 1 second.
Sorry, man. I suck. I know. I couldn't hold it anymore. I'm like, holy shit, man. I've been drinking too much coffee today, man.
Oh yeah, that'll do it too.
You would think I'm drinking beer or something, man. I don't drink beer. I actually want to jump into something serious with you, but staying on the subject of kids, since in the Olympic, in the mom, if there was a mom's Olympics, you definitely would be like the Michael Phelps of all moms, man. You got like 15 gold medals, man, or 20, however you got. So you're definitely the coolest mom, man. You got that title, man.
Thank you.
And like after I talked to you and the first time, and then I talked to my mom, and I was telling her like, yo, the girls, just like when you look at the pictures, man, like the girls are so happy with you, man, and so happy to be around you. Like they're just all vibrating, man. It's so nice. It's really nice, man.
Oh yeah, I love them to death. They are very full of high energy. That's the damn truth. Trust me. Anytime I'm tired, if I go around them, I'm like, well, I ain't tired no more.
I want to jump into something serious, man. Because we are here. The point I get on this podcast, and the point for me making these videos, man, is to reach people. Hopefully, like I think it's very important. I think that we as adults now, man, I hate freaking thinking of it like that, but we as adults gotta claim responsibility for the next generation, man. We can't keep freaking leaving the next generation with worse and worse and worse world, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like I think we could definitely, and not, me myself, I don't have kids of my own, but I feel like still people that, don't have kids should also, think of everyone else as kind of their kids, and kind of, try to have some kind of good input. Man, how do you keep getting sexier by the minute? What is that outfit? Who are you wearing?
Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. Holy shit. Jesus, where'd you get that? Is so freaking sexy, man. That's really sexy.
Hot topic.
Shit. Well, now you got me.
I figured if I was gonna wear the wig, I might as well wear the costume because it's just fun.
You got me stuck for a second, but all right. Definitely gonna get some more views now. Do you still, before we get to the serious topic, do you still like fairies, man? I remember you used to like fairies.
Oh heck yeah.
Yo, fairies are the shit, aren't they? The shit, like.
Yeah.
I still, like, after you, I honestly will say I'm a grown ass man, and I have no shame of saying I believe in fairies, man. I believe they exist.
Yeah, but me and my mom figured out something completely different. That there's fairies and then there's pixies. And the difference between a fairy and a pixie is a fairy is always tiny, whereas a pixie can grow to human size, and they can stay that way for a period of time, and then they can grow back down, but they're mischievous. So my mom has now deemed me a pixie.
Are you telling me that Tinkerbell was a pixie and not a?
Yep.
What?
Yeah, that's why my mom's like, you're Tinkerbell. Yeah, my mom deemed me Tinkerbell.
Oh my God, you just blown my mind, man. I will never look at Tinkerbell the same way again, man.
Yes, my mom calls me Tinkerbell all the time.
So Tinkerbell is I thought she was good.
No, she's a mischievous pixie. That's why she gets mad at Wendy, because Wendy's stealing Peter Pan away.
Holy schmoly, man. Shit, I will not be able to fall asleep tonight, man. I'm going to be thinking about that. I'm like, how the hell is Tinkerbell a pixie, man? And what about men? Yo, did you ever see that video on YouTube of like a dude actually catching a video of a ferryman somewhere in like Ireland or some shit?
No, but I believe it.
Yo, you gotta look it up. It's like literally a ferryman. He captures it on his cell phone, man. This is trippy.
Nice.
All right, man. We're gonna get into a serious topic. Have you seen? Well, I really hope you haven't, but still, have you seen? I think it was last year. A girl posted a live feed. She was like live on livemeet.com or something, with her hanging herself.
That was actually, I never saw it, but I've heard about it, and it was actually Facebook Live, and they can't take it down because you have to be able to log into the person's Facebook to withdraw it. And that's not the first suicide. That is actually the fourth one that has been recorded on Facebook Live.
Holy shit. But this was the one that I don't know, somebody posted it on Facebook and
she hung herself. Another girl hung herself. I believe, if I'm correct, one of them shot themselves.
Holy shit, man. I'm glad I didn't see the one that shot themselves. But so I actually went and seen this. So this girl was like 12 years old, and it was actually people watching that shit live, and there was even
they thought it was a prank.
But there were even kids even encouraging her, man, like, yo, do that shit. Like, you know what I mean? And all right, even if someone thinks that it's a prank, like, how the F are you gonna take the risk of encouraging somebody? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So I was gonna ask.
This is the sick bullying shit.
Yeah. So that's what I want to get into, like, because me being raised in Ukraine, you don't hear, well, at least back in the day, you didn't hear a lot about these things, because I think our reality was just like, like a lot different. And I always say that you can't really measure someone's pain or what they're going through unless you're in that person's shoes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you notice that, especially in the whole age of social media, we've been seeing a lot more freaking suicides and things like that. Can you get into that and tell me, why do you think it's happening? Like, and maybe what we can do about it?
Well, number one, we're all plugged into our phones too much. I just posted a meme yesterday that said, from George Orwell's 1984, they will not revolt because they will all be too busy stuck on their technology or their screens.
Oh,
Every time you go out anywhere in public, what is everybody on? Phone.
You know what kills me is if you even see like two people on a date and shit, and like they're both sitting there looking at their freaking phone screens, man.
Yeah, like my whole thing is like my phone goes away. If I need to show you something, like I'll Google it or I'll pull a picture up, and then I'll be like, okay, here, and then I put it away. Like, you know what I mean? It's only like a secondary tool for me to show you or explain something to you, but it's not like I mean, sometimes when I go and like smoke a cigarette with my mom, I'll be like, you know, and I want to show her funny things, and we're talking and we're still engaging. She never really gets mad at me because I'm never disassociated from the situation. I'm kind of like multitasking, so my brain's split. So I'm like still conversating with her, and I still follow the lines, and I still know what's going on, and I can still talk to her about it. But then sometimes I'll be like, okay, this is really funny. You have to see this, Mom. And like I lighten up the mood, you know?
But back to the kid, like, all right, so basically, you know, because I know a lot of adults out there are like, you know, sitting back, you know, when these things happen, these suicides amongst these young kids, and they're, you know, adults are sitting back and they're like, why the F would a 12-year-old commit suicide, you know? And then they get mad, like, oh shit, it's not that bad, and this and that. Like, can you go into the whole, because let's only talk about girls and girls committing suicide and ages like, you know, 12 years old, and you know, like, what do you think is happening? You know, why do you think they're doing it? Like, and what we can do about it as
Well, like I was saying, a lot of it has to do with the disassociation. Like Gwen recently, she's having hormonal stuff, okay? Because she's going to be 11, and this is early for me because I didn't start, like, yeah, I had a little bit of hormonal stuff, but I didn't really start into that whole thing until I was older. Especially especially the hormones in chickens, and most people, I particularly, if I like, will have chicken once a week. That is the maximum we have chicken. Okay? And the chicken that I buy is always GMO, no hormones, and no steroids. If I don't get chicken like that, I don't buy chicken, because
where do you get chicken like that though?
Tyson chicken is the only chicken that literally says no GMOs, no steroids, and no hormones.
And you think it's true? You can safely trust the?
No, but then there's Hartfield. There's a company called Hartfield that BJ sells that says the same thing, and they said they're all organic and their animals are grass fed. The butter I buy, I don't buy regular butter. I buy only RHBT free grass fed cows with no hormones and no steroids. It's the only butter I buy for this house. Now beef's a little harder, you know what I mean? But honestly, we only have ground meat once a week and chicken once a week, and other than that, we make a lot of completely vegetarian meals. A lot. Like, my soup tonight was a completely vegetarian meal, except for the fact that I had leftover chicken from like 3 nights ago that were in wraps. So I was like, well, I can use the chicken, and then whatever soup's left over, I can freeze, and then we can use them as a meal for another time. Especially if the kids get sick, then it's chicken and vegetable soup. It had sauteed bok choy, zucchini, squash. I put celery in there, turmeric powder, chicken broth, and Italian seasoning, and one more thing, roasted red peppers.
So you were trying to make a point. So a lot of it has to do with hormonal development too early.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, because a lot of the food that are going into these children's diets are making them develop quickly. Like one of Guinevere's little friends already got her period, and she's only 11.
Oh my God. So okay, but so how does that itself tie into? Does that tie into a kid, you know, maybe being too emotional? Or
yes, because when you're speaking on the terms of girls, you have to understand men have testosterone and women have estrogen. Okay, if a woman's estrogen levels aren't correct, it causes hormonal imbalances, it causes sleeping imbalances, it causes emotional issues.
Like depression.
That's why women don't understand it. There are plenty of women I have spoken to, which I'm not saying everybody's like this, but I'm just saying there are plenty of women I've spoken to that I said to them, they're like, oh, I'm on birth control. And I'm like, and how does it work for you? And they're like, well, you know, this symptom, that symptom, this symptom. I said, you do realize that you're tricking your body into thinking it's pregnant, right? They're like, what? Like, they said to me, what? I'm like, that's what birth control is. Your body is saying, you are pregnant, you can't get pregnant.
Holy shit.
So your body is acting pregnant the entire... Like, honestly, think about this. Can you imagine your kid's like 11 years old, she gets her period, and you say, let's go put her on birth control?
Fuck.
I feel like she's pregnant. Now, you don't know that these kids aren't or are on them. We have been treating... In today's society, we're not treating as kids. We're treating them more as adults. We're treating them more as, you know, they should know better. They don't have to learn as much. Like, kids have this thing where it's like every day they're like, I have to watch a YouTube video. And I was like, can it be something educational? Can it be something that's like going to enlighten your brain? And like, they've gotten better about it, but it's still like, it's like this mind numbingness. And then it's like they play on these games. Like, don't even get me started about this game called Roblox. And too many parents are letting these kids play this game. This game is totally inappropriate.
What is it?
For any child under the age of 15. Inappropriate. It looks like Minecraft, but the language and the words and some of the context, just inappropriate, and they don't have the correct, like, things in place. Okay, for example, they now have YouTube Kids. Okay? I pined for YouTube Kid for 4 years because my daughter Gwen and Debbie, they had gone to their father's house and he had a new baby with his new wife. Well, I still haven't got the whole story. He claims they were out in the hallway, but when they came back home, they went and started researching people giving birth on YouTube. There was no parental settings that could block that. It was right there. People's births.
So what is it, an online game, or is this like
No, I was talking about YouTube on that one, the births. But Roblox, yes, is an online game.
Oh my god. That sounds scary, man.
Yeah. And so, like, with Guinevere, for example, she's going through a little bit of hormonal changes. She got upset with me, and the first thing she popped off with is I'm stupid, I'm an idiot, I do nothing right, I should just go kill myself.
Oh my god.
She said that to me. And I lost it and said, how could you ever say something like that?
But she obviously doesn't say it with seriousness. I mean, as to understanding what she's saying, but still, right? A child saying something like that is just, it's really, really bugging, man.
Yeah, I really lost it when she said that. And I said, don't ever say anything like that. You know, don't talk like that.
What did you explain to her, though, why she shouldn't say that?
I went into a very long situation and I said, you know, there's no reason to think like that. You need to think positively. And I became a little lost. So I went out searching, and American Girl came out with a book, and it's called The Feelings Book. And it literally has exercises and things that they're supposed to do to cope with different emotions in different ways to try and help them understand what they're feeling and going through.
Have you found...
Now, some of it's work, but some of it's a work in progress.
Have you found it helpful?
Yeah. Like I said, some of it's helped, some of it's still a work in progress. There's a lot of the yelling at me and then the coming back and I'm sorry. a lot,
Mm.
but she hugs me, and then the hugging kind of dissipates it, and she feels better.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's a lot about me getting her attention, you know, because like I said, she's not comprehending everything, so I have to bring her back into focus and get her attention to really pull herself into where she needs to be, especially with her emotions and everything. But I think that's what a lot of it is. And then I think, you know, a lot of parents, I'm not saying they aren't. I'm not saying that kids that do this, they're not. But I think a lot of parents aren't as in tune to the things that are going on with the kids, you know, as much as sometimes we should be. I think especially as Americans, we become so consumed with work, money, you know, housework, you know, finances, all of that becomes this big thing. And we forget, like, there's these little people that are like, hey, I just want to play with you, or I just want you to push me on a swing, or just want you to sit down and watch a movie with me. I
Some
don't
kind of
care.
attention.
I don't care that there's like 500 dishes in the sink. I just want to
Mm.
watch a movie with you.
Mm. How important do you think it is to like to hug a child and to kiss them, and you know the physical aspect of, you know, loving a child?
Oh, that's a hard subject for me because I'm not really capable of it as much as I used to be. I'm very turned off to it.
But
Like,
I've seen you last time, and the kids come up and you say I love you and give me a hug and give me a kiss, and you know there's still some.
oh yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's funny because maybe they sucked it out of me. Maybe like them wearing my heart, you know what I mean? Like my heart walking around outside of my body. Maybe that's why they are the way they are. But they're always the one that are like, I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. I love you, mommy. Let me give you a hug. Let me give you a kiss. And they do it at least, each one of them, at least 5 times a day. Now Gwen hasn't been doing it as much as she used to. So I think maybe that's partially what's going on with her. But I'm more of the, like, in the morning I see them, good morning, sweetheart, how are you doing? Give them a hug and kiss. Right before they go to bed, give them a hug and a kiss. You know what I mean? But they manage to fill in a lot of that space in between breakfast and dinner, you know, or bedtime.
I heard, I read somewhere a long time ago that it's actually very important, not only for a child, but for a human being to be psychologically in a good place. You know, the whole, shit, man, I always can't find a proper word. But the whole affection, the whole physical affection, towards a human being is very, very important. You know, like me and you were very similar in that aspect, as you know, we like the whole, you know, cuddling, and even with your partner, or with your boyfriend or husband or whatever, you know, like we like to be affectionate, and little, you know, kisses here and there and cuddling. And I actually read that it's very important, and especially in the upbringing of a child, you know, that the human touch is very important. It sends.
It's healing.
What is it?
It's healing.
Talk about that.
It's healing because the transfer of energy and between two human beings. So if, like, I think that's why, like, in certain ways mine's like withdrawn so much, because I've gone through some bad relationships where it was just like I didn't want to absorb that negativity, and that, you know, like we know, we've talked about this a million times. Remember the whole thing about empathy, and I can feel other people's energy and their emotions and feelings and everything like that. So I've gotten to a point where it's like I don't always want to touch people. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to draw that in. I don't want to feel that. I don't want, like, I can already feel it, like, here. I don't want to feel it here, you know? So, I mean, and the kids don't have that because they're pure, pretty much pure. But at the same time, like when they're diffusing, it's like they need my positive vibes and my touch to kind of bring them back to where they need to be, you know? And like they get weirded out by me sometimes because like sometimes when I get at my maddest, I squeeze hug them. And then they look at me like I'm crazy, but it's like I'm squeeze hugging them because I'm just like I don't want to be mad, but I also want them to understand like I'm upset, but I also want to diffuse them. And then and then by the time I put them down, because it's like a good 3-minute like holding hug, and then they'll look at me and they'll be like, they don't really have anything to say, and they'll just be like, okay, and they like walk away.
So it helps.
Yeah, it diffuses it.
So back to the whole suicide thing. So the first triggers you're saying is obviously food, because you know that saying that we are what we eat. That's a very true saying. So what are some of the other things that you think is going on that would push a freaking 12-year-old child that can't really see you know, a future in front of them to go to such an extreme? Because one thing that people don't understand about suicide, and anyone out there that has ever actually attempted it, I'm not talking about just thought about it, because you know most of us think about it, but actually have attempted suicide will understand that it is such a bad and low place to be at, you know. And a lot of people say, oh, cowards did it, but you know, you don't understand, you know, first of all, how hard, you know, to come to the realization that, yo, I'm like freaking taking my life right now, you know, and it's such a bad and low psychological place to be at. So talk about that a little bit.
Well, I can talk about it on a personal level. I almost killed myself. Well, I was a risk cutter for years, and I almost killed myself twice.
Yeah, so it's such a bad place. But like I said, so what do you
have to get yourself to a mentality that you believe that there's no one, that there's nothing left, and you have to say, well, this is it. Like, there's never going to be anything more. I'm never going to go anywhere, and nobody cares about me. And like I said, with the whole socialization and social media and everything like that, just because like you have 500 friends on Facebook, you can have 500 friends on Facebook. And you know, the funniest thing is like for example, for today, okay, I went on Facebook and I was on it was just a kind of a test product, just because I was seeing what was going on. So I left my messenger up all day. See who would message me. And like, except for like when you messaged me, I saw multiple friends come in, come on, come in, come, like, you know what I mean? Going in like on and off. But if I didn't engage into the act of actually saying hello or anything like that, nobody said nothing.
Something just happened.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh my God, I cut off. Wait.
Now I can't hear you. Yeah, I can hear you. I did.
Jesus, no, please. No. This was so. Okay, wait. My headphones are not coming back on. Can't believe I just let my headphones die. Oh no. Wait, can I do this without headphones?
What? You're still not getting it to work, huh? No, I can't hear you. No, I can't hear you.